Hey, what's going on, guys?
I'm Mega.
And I'm Ryan, and this is First Impact. So, the fight happened, and I know all of you seen it. We were glued to it. What did you think about it?
Um, so yeah, it's been about getting close to 24 hours since the actual fight happened.
Yep.
And so I've had some time to think about it, and I was hyped. I mean, we're all about the build up to it, and again, there's a lot of great fighters, a lot of people even in the weight in that weight division, but it was awesome to see that they were actually making it happen. I
Yep.
liked all the media. I liked both their teams and like the history of, people on their teams. So I was into it, and I was thinking, I was like, man, I've been really into boxing for years now, and this is something we've bonded over. Hence, this is why we're also doing this. It's something we both enjoy. But I was like, okay, so I have years, but I was thinking about how long you've been into boxing, and I was like, you have over 5 times the years that I have, like times five. And during the fight, or all the fights really, and Ryan always does this, you catch things like way before me, and like he predicted it, and
You guys saw it.
I thought Tank was gonna win, but when the fight, like when they're both looking at each other, and I still was like, okay, I think Tank is gonna win. I wasn't. I was like, dude, Ryan could still win, and I still saw a lot of positives on his side and skill set, and you don't really know what their training camp is like. You don't know their sparring partners. You don't know their game plan. You don't know what's going on in their head. You don't know what kind of mind games are going on, and but you caught a lot of stuff, and you understand it even more. So like, that's where I was at. Even though I was guessing Tank, I wasn't as knowledgeable as you, but we could talk about also. I guess that's the build up, and then we'll talk about like the actual watching the rounds. But
Yeah.
what'd you think of leading up to it and like getting to watch it, or like that moment
Oh,
before you saw round?
well, the lead up is always fun because
Mm-hmm.
that's like the time that everybody's like talking trash to
Yeah,
each other, and it's just a fun thing. They're
yeah,
talking about the draining the fighters, and I
yeah.
like Leonard Ellerby.
Oh
He's always
yeah,
like dropping f bombs like
yeah.
to Oscar De La Hoya. It's like
Well, Oscar had this like
taking all you fucking
long,
fighters.
yeah, this long ass like eloquent message he's reading off,
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yep," and you don't even care about your fighters. And then he got up, he's like, "Shut the fuck
yeah,
up!" Like he's
yeah,
like, what? Like
yeah.
whatever he said was funny.
It's funny. He's hilarious.
But I really like both guys, and
Yeah,
I
they're
really
they're they're
like
they're
their
both great.
teams, and I don't,
And they're
yeah,
both great fighters.
and I usually cheer for the underdog, but I was leaning on Tank, and he was not the underdog. And I usually cheer for the guy that's like better or well mannered. And Tank is not that guy either.
Hey,
He's not a bad guy, but he's
Oh
not
yeah,
that little like polished dude. Like he's a real guy. And but yeah, I was happy. And then okay, so watching the fights round for round, I was on edge the first. Well, I guess until second round when uh, Ryan fell down or got knocked down.
yeah.
But when Ryan came back and he was starting to throw some combos, I hadn't seen Tank go in as much like that. But again, different fighter, different came in with a different thing. And I remember uh, who do we just watch? The Benavidez Plant,
Mm-hmm.
and Plant had like a game plan of
Yeah.
getting in there, but that didn't work for him and for that. But so like part of me was like kind of relapsing on that. I'm like, oh, again, I'm not as knowledgeable. Like, so I'm seeing some things and I'm guessing, but I don't know. By the fourth round, I thought Ryan was a little bit more hesitant. He was definitely getting things in his head. He
'Cause
was
got
letting,
knocked.
yeah, and he was letting, Gervonta like take control, and Gervonta, and you were pointing it out over and over. He's like setting up, and this is
Setting
what
up.
he's doing, and this is what he's doing. So I also am lucky I got like these play by play. Like I get to hear what you're saying too. So once I saw that and hearing like the affirmation through you, I was like, okay, Tank's got it. And then up until the 7th, I was like, and then when that happened, my jaw was just like,
yeah. I called it. I called it to where, like, the same thing kind of happened. Like, he threw a hook, he ducked under it, and he hit him with a right cross. When he knocked him out, ducked under a hook, hit right cross to the liver as opposed to just the face. But, either way, it's the same thing that I said, because there's a certain thing that you can't change. Mm-hmm. And you can't change you can work on different things in camp, but the real you that you've been training all along is always going to come out. Yeah. And that's the hook. The hook is his, Yeah. So that's what, Tank was banking on. Tank bank. But, that's why he kept on, he was holding out that hand, baiting for him to do that hook. There's just, I have a video that says, what would Ryan Garcia have to do to win? Mm-hmm. And what he would have to do to win is not do what everybody thinks, which is throw that left hook. Yeah. Fake the left hook, throw the right hand. Yeah. Now, if you noticed in round number 2, Ryan Garcia came out hot. Yeah. And he actually hit Tank with 2 right hands. Yeah. And that was the way to go. But the only thing was that he came out like an offensive fighter, and to be an offensive fighter like that, you have to have massive endurance. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that worked for him up until he went back to the hook. Yeah, and Tank Davis, capitalized on it. It's just, but he had his couple good moments, but he had his good moments, but it was not like they said before, and Tank said, and his team said, there are levels. There's levels. And even Ryan is so good. He's good. And he could kick he could, not just anyone in his weight class, but all these people talking shit on you, it's dude, he can kick a lot of people's asses. A lot of people talk about Ryan Garcia's speed. Yeah. Like Gervonta Davis isn't fast. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And I made a comparison saying, if you're in a car going 100 miles per hour, you are only going fast to a car that's going 50 miles an hour. Right. But if it's a car that's going 100 miles per hour next to a car that's going 100 miles per hour, it's the same thing. It's not good. You know what I mean? It's not. Oh, and back to Ryan's combos. Yeah. He showed in other fights that he could do these fakes and feints, and so I was thinking okay, that would be a great plan, because you can do it and you have done it, and he didn't go that route. And but I'll say, I'm glad they were both good sports at the end. I'm glad he took it like a man. Yeah. And he's like, I lost, and even though, my opinion, I'll just say it while it's on my head, the weight clause. Yeah. In history of boxing, when you're on the upper hand or the A side, it's boxing. You pick things. So he signed it, he agreed to it, and I think at the end he is not complaining about it. Not oh, that's why I lost. Yeah, he better not. But he is seeing I probably am more of a 140 guy, 145, and but either way, Tank is just a better boxer. And I think Ryan, and to have all that pressure and all those people watch, and to get, you're on one knee, and then to still have all the cameras on you, and even have your mom there talking to Tank, and to have a smile and just to take it, I'm oh my God, I would not. I'm way more grown and mature, but I was holy shit, I would break down. That liver punch is something else. But so I commend him on that. I think that's, and I really hope, whether he goes to a division up or whatever he chooses, maybe he fights Rolly next. But, but this is gonna make Ryan Garcia better. Yeah, just like when Canelo fought Mayweather and several other people's fights, and when Plant
has fought after Plant fought Canelo.
Canelo is king
like,
because he fought
yeah,
Mayweather.
Like
because he lost to Mayweather.
I think yeah, and it's boxing, so like it's a sport. You're like losing is almost gonna always. I mean, I know there's a couple perfect people, but you know, so I think it was great. Weight clause. I think he took it very mature. Ryan took it very maturely. They seemed to get along. They exchanged numbers.
Yeah.
I did notice like another, and then I did notice a little piece of drama saying like there was a rat or a mole within the camp, but Ryan didn't seem to use that as an excuse. Mm-hmm. I still like Tank would win no matter what. Like
no matter what.
And it's also
it's
just
still that hook that
man, just like not only their style of fighting, but their whole teams like everyone. I don't know, just their knowledge, their mentality. They're like, we are going. Like one time in the corner, he was like, "Hey, this is your party, baby."
Yeah,
like,
this is your party. He's like,
and I was like, "Dude, this is a fight!"
Yeah,
like, and to like know what to say and what to keep him focused, like, because he didn't ease up, but like that language worked for him.
Yep.
But me watching it, I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like I thought it was hilarious. So, build up to the fight was awesome. Watching the fight was awesome. I do not think it was anything like Hagler Hearns at all.
Nah, it wasn't. It was more calculated.
It was very calculated.
Yeah.
And it was a good lesson for me. Like I learned from it because I'm like,
and I like
that's
Tank,
how you calculate
Tank
shit.
Does
like,
not gas himself out.
Yeah.
He is totally like a counter puncher. He does not gas himself out, and he waits for the right opportunity. He may throw less punches, but of those punches, you get knocked out with one of them. You know?
And I like, for both of them, you can't compare them to anyone else. And it's like, yeah, of course Tank learned a lot from Mayweather, but he has a different body, a different style, and he makes his own things. It's like, yeah, he has like his like gazelle punch and like jumping punch, and like Tyson did it, Rocky Marciano did it, but like he still does it his way, like basketball players throw free throws, and you're like, technically you're all doing the same thing, but people would have, or dunks, and like, now you do it a certain way. Like, you have, so I think they're both, and Ryan's the same. Like, yeah, he looks a lot like Oscar when he was younger, but like, he still has his own style, and, but yeah, I enjoyed the before, the during, the after. The fights beforehand were pretty fun, a couple surprises, but I wasn't like as into those as I am with a lot of other fights.
The third fight, the guy got knocked out quick. Knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
like called it as soon as the face off was going. That guy looked worried.
The Cuban 19-year-old. Yeah.
He looked. No. It was I think it was. I forget his name.
You're talking about
the one that just looked worried in the face off.
Oh yes. No, yeah, but that was against the 19-year-old with the with the puzzle thing. I want to see that. I want to see him. I started following him. I gotta look his name up.
He's talking about he wants Benavidez.
Yeah,
not yet. He's good, but not yet.
But he'll be fun because he's so young to watch more of.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys, if you guys have seen other fights of his and want to share and let us know more, I'd love to learn more about him too, because he was entertaining, looked super fit. Lots of power, so I'd like to see him. How his footwork and moves against like better guys are too. But anything else to say about the fights that you liked or?
No, well, I just loved everything about it. I loved it, like you said. I loved the before. That's fun. I loved the fight. I loved how everything came out, and I loved the after fight that both can be respectful. You know what I mean? Because. We used to talk about like different versions of winning. You can win by losing. Like you can win but still be a loser by having a bad attitude. And you can lose and win at the same time by losing but having a good attitude. And that's what Ryan showed. He showed that you can lose, but you can still be a champ. You can lose like a champ, or you can lose and it was because XYZ, but no, he didn't do that. So, I like Ryan Garcia before. I like him still.
Yeah, I like him more now.
Yeah,
I like it because
he's a dope boxer.
there's been other
Young,
boxers I've seen after they lose, guys and girls.
And that's when they start talking about, oh, well, in camp,
and
I
I'm
had
like,
a shoulder injury.
And I can think of
hate
3
that.
on my mind right now from the past year. And I'm just like, man, I don't respect you as like you just put a totally different taste in my mouth.
Oh yeah.
The way you act after a fight from losing, and and Ryan did it.
One specifically in the women's boxing.
Yeah, that one.
Anyway.
2 guys in my one. Yeah, but yeah. So Ryan took it. I like that Gervonta was like, yeah, he can have his money, and they didn't like.
Yeah, they didn't
bullshit around.
That,
they knew there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of talk. One other thing I had recently thought about with the after stuff, whatever, I forgot. But, I enjoyed it. And I enjoy seeing all the people talking and what they say. And, someone in the interview, post-interview, asked Gervonta, like, oh, now that you beat Ryan, Devin Haney said whoever wins this fight, he would like to fight. What do you think of that? And Gervonta's like, Devin Haney need to think about May. I think it's 20th when he fights Lomachenko. He's like, Devin Haney need to think about May.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my time. I don't need to answer that. He's like, I don't know Devin. Which he's right. Like, again, I hope he doesn't duck anyone and he takes the next challenger. I'm sure he will. But it's like, he needs to focus on that fight because it's still a fight and you don't know what's going to happen. And maybe Tank wants the winner of that fight, not just...
Yeah, not just...
he's like, you better earn...
Get past
because
that first.
Ronda's like, I want whoever has all the belts.
Yeah, because
I'll just scoop those up.
Lomachenko's not a bum.
Yeah,
So and that's going to be the next big fight
that
we're going to be talking about is, Devin Haney versus Lomachenko.
That was the last thing I thought of in the past 24 hours watching stuff that I wanted to point out. But overall, it was great. And I think it's great that it's in the 135 division and not just heavyweights and not just, I like seeing all the divisions have stars. And I'd like to see more, there are, but I like to react and review a lot of the other ones too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So,
and women.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna piggyback off something that that Mayweather said in 2017.
Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
And Tank Davis said,
I'm definitely face of boxing. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.